Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Juliet here, and today we're going to do part 2, which is the top of these earrings. So hopefully you've watched part 1. If you haven't, I will put a link in the description box so that you can easily find that. So we're going to be using the exact same Delicas that we used before. So I'm using Miyuki. You'll need obviously red, white, and blue. And also when we did the bottom before, if you remember, we used gold rounds here, here, and here, just the 11-0 rounds. But for the top, we're going to be using gold Delicas. And the reason I'm using gold Delicas is because they're a little smaller. It looked a little strange to have big gold corners, but also the Delicas have a slightly bigger hole, and because on my earring I'm using a jump ring, I went ahead and used Delicas. Now you can also, you don't have to use a jump ring. You could make a loop and then put a jump ring this way and make a loop at the top of this earring, or you don't even have to make this, but it sure is optional. Okay. The other thing I want to point out to you really quickly is that when you're making your earrings, so we make them the same, but you usually want your earrings to kind of be opposites. So you see how there's the white stripe here and the red stripe here and white stripe here and red stripe there. You can just turn it over and that will make it be the opposite. So really think about that when you're making, when you're assembling your earrings. And the same with the top. So the top that we're making, the stud top, we've got 3 colors. If you flip it over, see how the red here is on the left. When you flip it over, the red is on the right. But you'll need to actually consider that when we are making our little triangle. So do keep this in mind, that you'll need to kind of reverse the layers. And the way we make this is we make 2 triangles and then we zip it together using peyote stitch. So let's go ahead and get started. So you'll need your needles, and I'm using the Wildfire in gray. And you don't need very much at all because we're doing it in 2 parts. So you really only need about a foot on your needle. So go ahead and pick up a blue, a white, and a red onto your needle and slide them down. And I'm going to zoom you in here. Okay. So go ahead and run your needle through all of them again. So the blue, the white, and the red. And that's going to form this little loop here. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and go into the blue. Sorry, let me move these over so that I can get in the right spot. Okay. And when you pull it, these, you might need to kind of poke them, but they should go into a little triangle. Okay. So once you have your little triangle, you're going to pick up a blue and a white and go ahead and go into the white bead. And you want them to sit like this so that they're on top of each other. Okay. Then go ahead and turn. Try and keep your tail towards the back if you can. Pick up a white and a red bead and go down into the red. this is so small. It's kind of hard and fiddly at the beginning just to get it sitting right. Give me a second here. There we go. Okay, so again, you want those two beads sitting on top of each other. Then you're going to pick up a red and a blue bead. Oop, that one's a bit broken. Okay, a red and a blue bead. You're coming out of your red, you're going to go into the both blue beads together. Okay. And again, you want them to kind of sit next to each other. So we should now have a little triangle like this. Okay. And you're coming out the blue. Okay, so again, we're going to pick up a blue and a white and go into the white. Then pick up one more white bead. You're going to skip this one and you're going to go into this one. And pull, and it should just sit on top of it like this. Okay. And go ahead and pick up a white and a red. And go into the red bead. And get them sitting next to each other. Pick up another red bead. And you're going to go into the end red one next to the blue. There. And it's going to stack up like that. And then you're going to pick up a red and a blue. And you're going to go into this blue bead. Sometimes they're a little stubborn, but they'll go. Just be patient. Okay, and one more blue bead. And go through both the blue. So the last, so that one and the end one to step up. Okay, so when you have this, go ahead, get another thread, and you're going to make a second one. Okay, exactly the same. Once you've done that, you need to get your earring stud. Now this is a 6mm flat back earring stud. These ones are sterling silver, which are better if you have ear allergies, metal allergies. Most people don't have a problem with sterling silver. So yeah, 6mm circumference here. All right, so now I need to work out how I want it to go. So on this one, I have the red on the left and the white on the right. So on this one, I'm going to want the white to be on the left and wait, I need the blue at the top. I want the white on the left and the red on the right on this one. So blue at the top. Okay. So on one of your earrings, once you figure out which way, one of your little triangles, once you figure out which way you want it to go, we're going to get rid of our tail that is sticking out of the middle, okay? So to do that, go ahead and thread your needle. Okay, so I have threaded my needle onto the end that's coming out of the middle. And the way I'm going to get rid of this end is I'm going to go down this red one, these three red ones right here. So it's coming out this blue one in the middle. I'm just going to go down here, okay, to get it away from the middle. We don't want it in the middle. Now don't tie it or cut it or anything at this point, because you might block a thread path, okay? So just take your needle off and still have your two strings. Just make sure that they're coming out from the two sides. Go ahead and do that for your second one as well. So get the one in the middle coming out of the outside. So remember, go into the next central bead, which would be this red one, and go down those three until you're coming out the end. So I'll do that and I will come back. Okay, so I have now got on both sides the threads coming out from corners. So now I'm going to look at my stud and look at the way I want my earring to be situated. So I said I wanted the white to be on the left-hand side and the red to be on the right-hand side. So once I know that that is the way it's going to be, go ahead and take your earring and stick it through the middle. Okay, so this is going to be the back of the earring. Now the other piece, go ahead and thread your needle onto one of your strings. I happen to have quite a long string on this one that's coming out of the blue. Okay, so I went ahead and threaded my needle. Now I'm actually facing the wrong direction here, so I'm going to be working counterclockwise or anti-clockwise. If your thread that you're using is going the other way, that's fine. At this point, it doesn't matter. So what we're going to do is we're going to add on one more layer onto this one. So not the one that you've got your back in, but the other one. We're going to add one more layer. And to do that, we're actually going to add gold at the corners. So whichever way is working for you, whichever way your thread's going, figure out which direction you're going to be moving in, okay? Go ahead and pick up two of your gold and go into the first, whatever color next you happen to be at. At this point, the colors, hang on, that one's really small. I'm gonna get a better one than that. Let's try that again. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay, so pick up your two gold, go down through your white or whatever color the next, and make your little corner like we did before. Then whatever color you're at, use that color, and you're going to put one here and one here. Okay, so he's a little bit fatter on that side. Then, and if you have a tail sticking out, just push it to the back. Pick up two more gold. And go ahead and go down into whatever the next corner bead is. Make sure they're sitting correctly, okay? And then again, whatever color you're at, go ahead and fill in 2. So 1, 2. And again, pick up your 2 gold, go down into the next corner, and then pick up 2 of whatever color you're at right now. And go ahead and go through your last bead and your corner bead. So you have a triangle. Yours might be in a different direction than mine is. Okay, so I want my white to be on this side. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna pick up one more gold. I'm gonna go through to make a little corner like this, okay? All right, so now pick up the other piece of your earring. Figure out how it will sit so that the colors match. So mine is gonna sit like this. I've got the white, the blue, and the red. Okay. And at this point, just try your best to keep your threads out of the way. So now you can see here, it's like a zipper. I have one on this side, 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 one on this side. So I'm going to zip these 2 sides together. So you're gonna go through this bead and just try and keep all your tails out of the way if you can. This bead, this bead, and this is honestly the most fiddly part. Once you get the first side on, it becomes a lot easier because it kind of stays together better. The tails I know can be difficult, but if we tie off and tie knots and run things through and cut, we could accidentally pull them out again. So that's why I'm being very careful here, and I'm just letting my tails be in my way, okay? So once you've zipped that, you can kind of tighten it up a little so that these 2 outside ones pull kind of into the middle, like here, okay? Then go ahead and we have to add a gold corner. So pick up a gold and add your corner. Okay, I'm gonna turn a little bit. I'm gonna take some time to make sure my tails are not going to get caught inside the earring. Just make sure all your tails are out of the way. And again, we can zip it up. So again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? So go ahead and just go back and forth, zipping it up. So we just go one side, and just take your time here. Watch your thread. Make sure you're not accidentally sewing anything in the wrong place. Okay, and when you tighten it up, it should kind of blend together like that. Okay, I just pulled it and it all tightened up. Okay, now it's gonna hold together pretty well. we can move on to our last side. So go ahead and move into your gold. Pick up one more gold bead for the corner. Okay. And our last side, we're going to zip it up. So go ahead and tighten that up. Okay, so now it's all stuck together. So now is the time to look and see where your threads are, because you might be able to tie your working thread to another one of your threads, depending on which direction. So here, for example, or here, yeah, I could tie it. I'm going to tie it onto, see, I have this thread coming out of this red one. I'm going to tie it onto here. But first I'm going to run around the whole thing one more time to hold on my corner points, because they will be on my earring, at least because I'm using a jump ring. That's what's holding the whole thing together. So I just want to make sure that that bead is really secured on there. So I'm going to go all the way around again. Let's do some speed beading. Ready? Phew. Okay, I made it. So now I'm going to go ahead and sew over to that one on coming out of the red that I wanted to join onto. So I'll just work my way down there. So you can see the concept of this is actually very easy. It's more the execution of it that can be a little fiddly, but it's worth it, I think, to have an earring top that matches your design. And there's no reason you have to do it in 3 colors. You could do it in 1 color if you wanted. It's like, you know, you can make it your own to match your project. Okay. So go ahead and go through there. Oop. Got my thread looped. Okay. And this is the thread I want to connect onto, so I'm going to go ahead and go into that gold bead, and then I can tie them together. Although actually, When you're doing peyote stitch, really, knots aren't necessary. If you run around your beadwork enough times, you can just cut your thread off. And I'm thinking I might not want a knot. If your triangle is a little skew-iff, you can just kind of massage it until it sits the way you want it to sit. So yeah, just go ahead, weave in all of your tails. Yeah, I'm just gonna cut this. I don't actually want a knot in here. I'm gonna run it down. I'm actually gonna run it down these 3 red ones towards the middle, and then I'm gonna cut it off. Can't get a grip on this, it's so, there we go. I need to get this thread out of here. Okay. So that's now in there, so I can cut this thread off. All right, so that's 1 down, 3 more threads to cut off. So I will do that and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I cut the end off of my little stud, oops, and so it's the right way. If you look at the 2 together, see the white is on the inner side, the red's on the outer side. And then I just have to make sure that my earring is the way I want it. So I've got the white on the left side here and the white on the right side here. So this is the correct way. And then I have some teensy tiny little jump rings here. I will just grab one of those. And this can be very fiddly. So what I'm using is I'm using my bent nose pliers, because that way I can kind of hold them without the plier taking a lot of room. And then I'm using these are actually crimps, but I love the needle nose. See how small it is on here? So these jump rings are very tiny. It looks like they are 3 millimeter. So they're very small. They came in like a set with a whole bunch of different sizes. And I've had that set almost since I started beading, so it's kind of crazy that it's lasted this long. Okay, so when you get your jump ring, get your plier, and usually they don't line up, especially the small ones. So what I like to do is hold it and wiggle them and make sure that they do line up. Now I've lost it. Yeah, okay. So now it's lined up. You can barely see the join right here. See how small this jump ring is? Okay. So then I'm just going to wiggle it open by twisting it like this. Okay. I'm going to put my earring on, and that is the front right there of my earring. And then this is the way I want it to be, so I'm going to go ahead and pop it through that gold. And sometimes it can be a little tricky. I've got a lot of thread. You've just got to be patient and figure out. There we go. Okay. So then I'm just going to hold the tip of it with my needle nose. I'm going to use this. This is so small. It's really tricky. And if you can't put it together, you can actually grab it all in one. Grab both sides and just squish it until it gets close enough, and then you can kind of fix it. That looks pretty darn good. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? And then I'm gonna just turn it to the side because I want that bit to be on the side. And I'm done. I finished my earrings for the 4th of July. So there you go, you guys. I'm really pleased with how these turned out. I think they're really, really cute. I hope you make them because in person, they're even nicer than they look on the screen. So if you've enjoyed this, please consider subscribing or giving me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.